Are you mocking me? Are you duplicating my background?
Oh no. Big guy, I'm proud of you. Look at this new background. You finally got rid of the bookshelf. Hey, wait a
What do you
second.
think of...
What what is this thing?
What the...
Are you next door?
Are you downstairs?
Yeah, man, I'm upstairs.
What are we doing?
I don't know, let's get into it.
Let's do it. All right, headlines. Number 5. Dave, what are we talking about this week?
We're talking about crowdfunding. Little Kickstarter action here.
Crowdfunding, Kickstarter. Okay, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. You think I can raise some money, fulfill my dreams?
Yes,
That's nice
maybe.
of you. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I'll send $10.
$10. $10 goes a long way. Okay, let's talk about it. In this week's By the Drip Weekly, we are talking about brewing in public, Kickstarter, and how different companies, which we've got a handful here on our list, have gone and raised capital to essentially fulfill their dreams of developing products, innovating in the space, building in public, brewing in public. Dave, what do you see here? There's 5 different companies. Are you familiar with any of these brands?
Yeah, I know a few of them. It's pretty amazing. We see 600,000 US dollars all the way to $5.1 million raised through Kickstarter. I think it's pretty unbelievable that people are able to source funds this way and kind of, as you scroll down here, catch headlines and groups of people, yeah, funded by fans. I think that's a great way to describe this.
Yeah, totally. So what's going on here? We're seeing a huge surge, let's say, in the coffee space in the last few years, where people are going to the community to fulfill and create the different innovations that they're putting into the market. So Dreo, barista maker, a milk frother, I believe is what that one's all about. Meticulous and Meraki are both home espresso machines targeted for the prosumer market, the home market. Time More has come out with an electric coffee grinder called the Sculptor that's created a lot of waves in the space. And Right Press, the no mess French press.
That one didn't work out.
You know what? I've always thought French press is just such a mess.
It's coming back. It's coming back in a big way.
Yeah, maybe we're
They
going to
never
talk about
left.
that one. We're going to talk about that one a little bit more in a second here. But incredible, 5 brands, only five brands that we've listed here. There's a ton of others. Fellow has done some Kickstarters. There's roasting brands that have done some Kickstarters. I believe Cafe Builds have done some Kickstarters. So all sorts of stuff going on in the space. And, why aren't we doing this, Dave? Why aren't you and I, why aren't we tapping into the market? Why aren't we tapping into the community? What are we missing here that we need to do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a different pressure, I think, when you reach out to a community and try to fund through them. I think for some people that kind of accountability is really good because they have to go to the community, say, every month and present their updates and kind of community notes. I think the problem with that, as we see with Right Press, and I think we've seen with quite a few different Kickstarter models, is maybe not directly fraud, but miscalculations, maybe not raising enough money, over promising and under delivering happens quite a bit. And I think that can have just such a negative effect on what you're trying to do and the PR side of things. So building in public can be really good and good for accountability, but for us, we're not building a home espresso machine, man. We're just a couple of simple Canadian brothers just trying to be content creators here, okay?
Yeah, we spent all of our budget on this background set, hey?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Way too
maybe we
much.
should talk to the community about doing some better backgrounds for us that we could try for some of these episodes. But
I think so.
yeah, we'll work on the budget for that. That'll come in the future. Have you used any of the equipment that we've listed here? Some of this has come to market. Some of these are still in the funding phase. But Dave, have you tried any of the pieces of equipment through Kickstarter?
I believe we have one of those Timor grinders at the office, do we not?
Yeah, yeah, we do. You've obviously never used it based on your hesitation as to whether or not we have it.
I've used it a few times, and for $5 million, it's unbelievable.
Well, no, you're not spending $5 million to buy the grinder. That means X number of people have contributed is probably a better way to say it. An amount of money to pre-purchase or fund the grinder. Did you read the notes, Dave? Did you read the notes on how this brewing in public thing works and what we're talking about in the Kickstarter here? Maybe this is why we've never done a Kickstarter. It's okay. Let's keep going. So you mentioned something about scandal. Let's talk about some success stories before we maybe go into the negatives. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, I think that's a great idea too. So a success story. I think there's one we can zoom in on. You know, the five listed above here. Kind of 3 or 4 of them are definitely in the success story type of phase. They're established brands or establishing brands. And interesting, I guess on that note, Timor is an established brand. They've been around maybe 10 years. They've put a ton of different tools into the market, but they decided to utilize Kickstarter to fund specifically this coffee grinder and find the budget and sort of momentum through the community to start this. So fascinating, super fascinating way to use their fan base, their already built-in loyalists, to bring a product to the market. And then I think another great example is September Coffee. So Kyle Rousel is a friend of ours based in Ottawa, and he went and took a social media following and spun that into a Kickstarter campaign to build his roasting business, which I think is a super fascinating way to utilize, super clever way to utilize the space and, again, bring your dreams into reality.
I like that.
Do you?
That's a great take, Cole.
Well, I don't know why we keep spending our money to do the things we want to do, man. Let's look to knock on some doors of our friends and followers and see if, maybe they'll put some wind in our sails and help us push through.
Maybe they can help us get some views.
Don't get crazy, man.
I know, that's way too. They'll give us money but not views? Come on.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, let's tell me, Dave. Tell me about the No Mess French press.
Man, this is a disaster. I was just reading some comments. This ended in 2019, and there was people commenting 4 days ago about trying to get their money back.
Oh no.
Essentially, this group raised $1.3 million on Kickstarter, and they had, it looks like 48 between 2 and Indiegogo. They raised $1.7 million. They had 48,000 people give them money.
Unreal.
And they had production problems and everything under the sun that caused them to delay. They sent out some French presses to people and then started selling them on Amazon while certain backers had not received their initial purchase. And people are furious. It's and rightly so. You're handing over, I think the lowest amount you could, donate. I don't know, whatever, pledge was like $60 or $80, and you are purchasing for that $80. You're getting one of these French presses, and there's just these monthly updates of delay, delay, delay. So I think this kind of showcases one of the big problems. And you're taking a risk when you pledge this money. You're taking a big risk to a group of people that might not have ever done this. Manufacturing a product is incredibly hard and difficult, and there's just a lot of headwinds that can happen. I think it's also stunning to think that there's almost 50,000 individual people have pledged some amount of money to the No Mess French press. Yeah, I can't believe that many people are excited about this product, but yeah, unfortunately, this kind of just went the wrong way. I guess they're still for sale on Amazon, and backers, are just left holding the bag. So I think pledger, buyer beware anytime. And I imagine we could find, another 20 or 30 of these kind of coffee related fundraising events that have just gone sideways. That's and it's not good for our industry. It's not a good look to be grabbing the bag like this and under delivering, over promising. It's not good for specialty coffee.
No, of course not. It's not good for any industry. Should somebody come in and sweep the floor with $3 million is what is between the two platforms here, 50,000 people, and sort of take $30 per backer. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's
wild.
Not good.
It's also it's mind-boggling. I looked at the French press. I didn't quite see the disruptive element of the French press that 50,000 people were convinced to throw some money at it.
It holds the grinds at the
12.
bottom. You can quickly dump those out, man. Come on.
Oh, unbelievable. What a revolutionary advancement
No mess.
that is in the space.
Okay,
No mess.
What's your take, big guy? What's your big take?
So I really like, if it's not obvious in my commentary so far, I really like the idea of crowdfunding and building in public and taking the elements of business and sort of showcasing that to the general population. The behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes in business atmosphere, getting to know the different team members, getting to know sort of direction, motivation, etc. And I think the closer we can be with our consumer base, the better we can fit their needs and demands, and sort of use that knowledge to sort of guide our ship as we sail through here. Because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, it's a bit of a blind journey, right? We're the blind leading the blind, thinking that this is the direction we should go and this is where we should spend our time. And I've for years now I've thought a No Mess French press should come to the market, and of course some other group comes and beats me to it. No, I'm kidding, but I think there's something really fascinating about just the public entity of crowdfunding. And in this particular newsletter, I put up a question. So Dave and I have always dreamed of having a coffee farm one day, and I put a simple question up here. I think we got about 30 responses, and of them, only one person said, "No, you're stupid." And it turned out that was our other brother. So shout out to him. No, I'm kidding. He said he would give us $100. I think Dave said, "No, you're stupid," just to ruffle my feathers. Hey, man, I see the data. Okay.
No, you don't.
I see the data.
I'd give you $1,000.
I can't genuinely see. I can't genuinely see who's clicking on what, but thought we'd throw it out there to see if people, would be curious or would be interested in fulfilling a dream of, say, a coffee farm, and interesting for conversation as well. Most people said yes. Most people said more than $100. So who knows? Maybe that's a feather we put in our cap and look to explore at some point in the near future. Maybe we start a little Kickstarter project. If this video gets more than 100 views, then maybe there's a conversation around it that, hey, could start a coffee farm.
Gotta
Anyway,
get to 100
love the idea
first,
of Kickstarter, crowdfunding, community backed. It just puts energy and momentum in the sales, and in the sales to double entendre there in the sales and the momentum of directional of the boat, but also puts momentum in the sales as in our pocket to help guide and sort of lead us into the future. Shall we continue? You got any other comments on Kickstarter or crowdfunding?
I think your take on, doubling down into, if you already have a existing consumer base and using their knowledge or funds to get the next product started, I think is a great idea. And, we've recommended it to a few people with small businesses. And I think Time More shows that even to launch a bigger product, there's an appetite for these things. And hopefully, more and more people will do it, just that they live up to what they're saying.
Yeah, that's the big thing. We got to establish trust with the community, and rather than looking for financing or big corporate backed loans, I think looking to the community to tap in, and it's a proof of concept, right? If I can get 50,000 people to back my no mess French press,
you're unstoppable, man.
Yeah, it's a proof of concept, and that gives me the confidence to go forward and scam all of those people out of their money. It's crazy.
All right, let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going. Reading, watching, listening, brewing. Reading. I loved this read. This was a very long read. It took some time, but this was a super cool piece that just goes through the history of pour overs, and it's very well worded. It's very well written. It's really highlights the balance of art, the balance of chemistry, the balance of all these different elements that come together to make a wonderful cup of coffee, and how it's kind of come into a realm of our day-to-day culture, pop culture, and how it's starting to transcend beyond the sort of just day-to-day kitchen brew. Did you read that one?
Yeah, man. I got the shout out to the Clover. I don't know if a lot of people know what the Clover brewer was back in like 07, 08.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice little written section on describing it and what happened to the company, and a cool little drawing about it. So it kind of goes through, the archives of how we got to where Pour Over Coffee is now, and where it was. And it was a really in-depth and great article.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed that one. Let's see. What do we got in watching? Following up on last week's newsletter in the sleep debates, watching Dr. Sherry Ma break down sleep patterns and studies within sports and enterprise, as well as talk about the Nappuccino. I thought this one was kind of neat. Sherry talks about working with Andre Iguodala, who's a potential future Hall of Famer, likely Hall of Famer in the NBA. He's won a handful of championships in the NBA, and he focused on sleep, and she said if you can try to win sort of 15 minutes of sleep on average per night, she talks about the impacts, the compounding impacts that'll have on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. And it's super fascinating. I mean, Dave, you and I, we focus on sleep. We wear these little Whoop bands. We're focused on getting to sleep on time, if and when we can. We're trying to ensure little or no alcohol in moments that we're looking to be in our peak physical shape in competition season. When we're out for runs or kind of grinding, sleep has become a currency in a way, and she talks about it in that sense where you want to kind of pay off your debt. And she uses the example of Andre Iguodala and other athletes and working with, top tier professionals to kind of carve away at that debt and how much of an impact it has in their day-to-day lives and impact on the courts or in
You're saying
the
15 minutes? You're saying 15 minutes, like I need to add 15 minutes of sleep every night?
No, she talks about it as if you can start with the goal of 15 minutes. You know, if your average sleep is 7 hours.
So get 7:15.
And you can go 15-minute chunks at a time and try to add that into your routine. And then I thought it was cute and kind of relevant to put into the weekly here with the Nappuccino and the idea of the Nappuccino, which
so cute.
I've
Just so
I've
cute.
never pulled this off. I don't particularly do naps, but she talks about the idea of hitting an espresso or coffee, something with caffeine behind it, and then immediately laying down and closing your eyes and trying to run, say, 20 to 30 minute sort of power nap, I think is the timing that she alludes to there. And she calls it a nappuccino because then you get the rest and recharge, but you wake up with sort of the caffeine,
You're just
the effects
juiced.
of caffeine. You're not juiced, but you're, you know, leading into it with a little bit
Coffee,
more
man,
oomph
not
as
juice.
you come
We're not
out.
talking about juice. We're talking about
What are
coffee.
you talking about? Yeah, come on, man. You're interrupting my train of
Talking
thought
about
here too. Do
practice.
you mind?
Talking about
No,
practice.
we're talking about the game, Dave.
No, we're talking about sleep.
Yeah, right. You got any comments on that?
I'm stunned.
Well, you should try to get more sleep, man. It's starting to show here. Both
Sleep's
in your
important.
both in your dialogue and in those bags under your eyes.
No, these are permanent now. At my age, they don't go away. Sleep. Get more sleep. That's about, I think, between 2023 and 2024, it's like sleep and alcohol. Get more of one and get less of another. That's what all the biohackers are saying every day on Twitter.
There you go. Now you don't have to go on Twitter, folks. Now you know.
Yeah.
All right, listening. Dave, what are you listening to?
Fred again, man. This guy's music's killer. Discovered him in 2023, and he's a DJ from.
He's a
Where is he
producer,
from?
Dave.
Oh, he's a producer.
British.
Sorry. Jeez, he's a producer.
Producer.
I thought he was a DJ too.
Whatever.
I don't know, man. His
I don't
music's
know. Is
really
it the
good.
same?
And you should watch Fred again on Tiny Desk on YouTube. I know that's not linked here, but that 30-minute set is super unbelievable. He makes all the sounds and records them like live on set. It's super sick and watched many times. And his new album is also very good. That's my take, man.
Super unbelievable.
It is. It's so good.
Super unbelievable. You heard it here first, folks.
I need a Nappuccino.
Do you think Fred might watch this segment?
I think it's a highly probable chance.
Yeah. I think he could.
Yeah.
That'd be neat. Maybe he does a song about us. What are we brewing this week? This week, we are
I didn't
rocking
even get
some
to try
coffees.
this.
Yeah, well, sometimes, Dave, you snooze, you lose.
No, you win, man. You snooze, you win.
Right. Right.
Okay,
This
what
week
are we
we're drinking some coffee from some friends in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So a roasting brand called One Half, and they're super fascinating roastery. They got some amazing coffees on the list. It's like a doom scroll type of list. It just goes on and on and on and on, kind of like Fred again, and if it's a candy shop type of list on their website. I would highly recommend going there. They ship around the world. We purchased some coffees, had them shipped to Canada. Everything was super nice, super tasty. We bought 4 different coffees. This was kind of the highlight for me, was this El Brahe washed geisha from Colombia. So from Nariño, we've been to Nariño, high altitude, high elevation, really ideal climactic conditions. I think El Brahe maybe won Cup of Excellence in Colombia, I don't know, last year or the year before. Anyway, beautiful coffee roasted in Kuala Lumpur. If you've never been to Malaysia, also,
You gotta go.
gotta go. Highly recommended. Dave and I were there at some point about a year ago and really enjoyed our time. It's a super fascinating melting pot, maybe is the way to say it, in terms of cultures. There's the Malay influence, there's Chinese influence, and then Indian influence with some British kind of mixed in there. And so the cuisine is incredible. There's some super cool architecture, some interesting buildings. They love tall towers. If you like tall towers, they love tall towers. So you'd get along really well visiting Kuala Lumpur. Dave, let's take it home here. What do you think?
Yeah, man. How many kilometers did we run this week?
Well, we're not quite there, man.
Oh, jeez.
Big brewing vibes.
I'm so sorry, Cole. This is your favorite section.
I love this section. I'd really appreciate if people would start contributing a little bit more to this section. It would help me out a ton.
Well, Paul did, man.
Yeah, this is a nice one. I think this is a ton of fun. Paul submitted a cardboard espresso machine, which I think is it's super funny. It's great. I love it. Creative.
Innovative.
It doesn't really function or look like it should work, but very creative. You know what, Dave?
We can crowdfund for this.
That's what I was thinking, man.
Let's do it.
How many millions of dollars do you think we could raise? We'll make
At
it
least $1
recycled.
million.
We'll make it recycled cardboard. People love recycling.
It's gonna make such good coffee, especially when the water hits that group head.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the soggy bottom on the portafilter, that's going to be so nice.
Soggy bottom.
All right. Paul, thanks for submitting something. We got some one-liners here. My coffee seems consistently papery on this machine. Ha! Are they recycling the same grounds? Good one. Is this that no mess coffee maker I kickstarted?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I like that.
That one's good.
Okay. If you have any ideas as to cool brewing bars, we'd love to see some real life brewing bars. Just respond to the email. Hit us up, dc@bythedrip.coffee. And yeah, we'd love to see what you're brewing on. Tag us on social media. We'll feature you here in the newsletter. We're getting hundreds of clicks through, so big action, big momentum. You'll want to put it in here. Grind Diaries, Dave. By the Drip Run Club. You got a run club?
Where did we get to?
Looks like we ran this week
Los Angeles to Vegas.
There you go.
400? Is that 400 kilometers? 397.
Yeah, 397. Not bad, man. Not too bad. Success is not for the ones who never fail, but for those who never quit. Keep going. Every step forward brings you closer to your goal. Boom.
Wow.
If you weren't motivated going into this thing, I sure hope you are coming out of it. Leading distance. Somebody did 75 kilometers this week. Look at that. Good for them. I'm impressed.
It's nice.
Very
43 different runs went on.
Yeah. That's awesome. Join us on Strava. It's, no pressure, just fun, cheering each other on and trying to, get better one step at a time here. It's not about going fast. It's just about going. So come on in if you need some support and some community-backed
fun
motivation.
Running.
Yeah, there you go. And as always, share by the drip. If you send referrals to your friend, you got this little referral code. You can click to share. And if you send referrals to your friends, we're gonna essentially pay you to share what we're doing here. We're working on some fun stuff where we're gonna do some limited release coffees in the referral program and start to change the rewards. So start building up those rewards if you're interested in obviously sharing what we're doing here. And Dave, you got anything you want to close us down on?
I think you need to start sharing this, man. You got 0 referrals. That's a little disappointing.
I'm looking at it from not what I actually refer people from. I'm leading the charts in terms of referrals. But don't worry, I won't ever spend them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks
Nope,
to
we
everybody that has
appreciate-
referred the newsletter. You go. You say it.
I was going to say, appreciate everyone sharing the newsletter. It means a lot to us, and keep chugging away. Pass it on to people who would be interested, and we should have some fun stuff coming up for rewards over the next couple weeks and months.
That's it for By the Drip, the weekly. Thanks, team.
Thanks, team.